Hi, I'm Dr Cath Watson, and today PD Insurance has asked me to talk to you about how you find an ethical breeder for a purebred or a pedigree dog. So the first thing to consider is what is purebred versus pedigree. So purebred dogs, anybody can call a dog purebred. They tend to look like the type. Whereas a pedigree dog will come with papers. This is a dog that's registered through Dogs New Zealand and has met all the requirements. All the parents will be registered, whether in New Zealand or internationally. So the first thing to do for your breeder is to check with Dogs New Zealand and see if they are registered. They should have a kennel name. It may not be that both parents are registered under them, but both parents should be registered. If they're going to promise papers because it's a pedigree dog, then they should arrive within 6 months. Any litter that is whelped has to be registered within 6 months. The big thing you're going to want to know from an ethical breeder is what are the health requirements? What's your puppy had? What have the parents had? This is things like vaccinations. Any good breeder is not going to let their puppies leave mum until at least 8 weeks of age. That's plenty old enough to have had at least one vaccination. Puppies also need worming, and they should be done from 2 weeks of age. So those puppies should be wormed every 2 weeks until they land with you. Flea treatment, not every area in New Zealand requires regular flea treatment. But if you're in an area that does require regular flea treatment, then those puppies should also have been flea treated, or at the very least, any other dogs or cats in contact should have been flea treated. Ideally, they'll be microchipped before you get them as well. But the most important thing, realistically, is any health testing that's been done for diseases or problems that are known for that breed. Sometimes this takes the form of tests that the parents may have had. So for issues like hip dysplasia and elbow dysplasia, there should have been x-rays taken and the parents should have met the minimum requirements for breeding to ensure that they're not going to pass those problems on. But then there's also things like DNA tests, and these can be done both on the parents, and if both parents are clear of a particular disease, then the whole litter will be clear. The puppies themselves may have been tested as well for specific problems. And you want to see the results of those tests and you want to understand those. So the breeder should be able to explain to you what those results mean and why it's good for your puppy. Talk to others who've had a dog from this particular breeder. They should be happy to share that information with you and put you in contact with those people and talk to them about any issues they may have had in dealing with the breeder, but also any issues they may have had with the dogs. Hopefully none, given that we're talking about ethical breeders here. Ideally, you want to meet that breeder as well and go and see their facilities. Get an assessment of how clean it is, meet the parents of your puppy, but also meet the other dogs there and get a feel for what the behaviour of those dogs are like. Are they happy around the breeder? Are they happy in their environment? Are they interacting with other dogs? Are they getting a chance to socialise outside that environment as well? You need to make your own assessment of the sincerity and the integrity and the knowledge of the breeder, but that means you need to go in pre-armed as well. Do your research before you turn up. What are you expecting from this particular breed of dog? What are you expecting the problems to be? Is the breeder able to discuss those issues with you? It's not all about problems, of course. You also want to understand what the benefits of those dogs are, and are you seeing those benefits in the parents? You need to insist on getting a written contract. Any good ethical breeder will ensure that you get a contract that covers your rights to come back to them if there's any health or behavioural issues that develop. You need to ensure that you actually get to see the evidence that those vaccinations have happened, that the microchip is registered on the New Zealand Companion Animal Database. The breeder should also brief you on the health of the pup. So has there been any issues since birth? Has the mother had any issues since birth? Are there any diseases going around that you should be aware of at the moment? But also, what are the known health issues for that breed that you may encounter and what they've been tested for? I also said earlier that any good ethical breeder is not going to allow you to pick up a puppy before 8 weeks of age, and that's to make sure that that puppy has had a really good start in life, had the colostrum from mum, had the interaction with mum, and had the chance to learn with the other puppies and with mum and with other dogs around some of that early socialisation behaviour that we need them to learn. Having said that, you also don't want to delay getting a puppy too long from a breeder, so if they're wanting to hold on to them until they're 16 weeks or older, then you've lost that opportunity where we have a very early socialisation period for puppies where they get exposed to all the things we expect them to meet later in life. So that opportunity between 8 to 16 weeks of age is a great chance for them to come into your home, meet your kids, meet the other pets you may have at home, but basically to adapt to the environment they're going to be living in with you, hopefully for the rest of their lives. But remember, at the end of all of this, the breeder is also going to be assessing you. So make sure that you are fully prepared for inviting a puppy into your home. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions and feel like maybe you're a bit silly, because at the end of the day, they would rather you ask the questions than came in thinking you know it all. That's going to make them more concerned about the home that their puppy's going to.